Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to my Tech Talk. I'm very excited to talk about how to get started with Anime.js today. But today, before we dive in, I'd like to introduce myself a little. My name is Shimada. I'm from Saitama, Japan. And I used to work at the real estate company as an architect. So I was using 3D and CAD software and creating house plans most of the time. But after that, I found myself more interested in software side than just using it. So I decided to change my career. So that's why here I am in Code Chrysalis today. Animation is now very big in this world, and people might think it's difficult to get started, but actually there are a lot of amazing libraries out there, so it's pretty easy to get started. So today, I'd like to guide you to getting started with one of the popular animation libraries, Anime.js. But before we dive in, let's talk about why animation is important. There are many reasons why animation is important. Web animation can engage and hold people's attention longer than a static web page and communicates an idea or concept more clearly and effectively. Okay, so let's look at these images of two cats. Do you see the difference? The image on the right has a loading animation, and on the left one, it doesn't. If you see this loading animation, you know it's loading, but without it, it's a little stressful to just wait what's going to happen next. So to tell the user what's happening on the web page, the loading animation is very useful. Since loading animations are important even though we don't usually notice them, so I'd like to talk about loading animations a little more. What are good loading animations that users can enjoy? 1. Give time estimation. It can be a simple message of approximate time to wait or visual representation of work done, such as how many files have been uploaded so far, or how many minutes the software update will take. These UX design details can set the expectation and reduce the frustration. Next, 2, explain why the user needs to wait. It's not always obvious why some apps or tools are not reacting instantly. Smart loading animation can give a reason to wait and explain what's happening under the hood. 3, make the waiting process fun and less frustrating. To reduce users' perception of waiting time, it can be achieved by putting an engaging animation which keeps the user eyes busy. If you find something to grab users' attention while waiting, the time will seem to pass faster. It can be a catchy color combination, interesting or cute idea, or just like these cupcakes. So that's it for the loading animation 101. Let's take a look at other animations. So as you can see, the bottom on the left, it doesn't get clicked when you click it. But on the other hand, the button on the right, when you click it, you can see it gets clicked. This seems very simple, but this is also an animation. Eye-catching button animation entices users to click for reading more or placing an order. Another animation related to button animations. In this image on the left, if a user put a wrong info to the form and click the button, the form says no immediately, just like shaking its head like nope, so that user can quickly understand that something went wrong. In the image on the right, User can understand the process is successfully working from the confirmed view after the clicking button, which is very user-friendly. Brand and logo animations. Brand logo animations in UI design impress users and let them remember the brand or website easily. For example, this 2D logo animation has beautiful color gradient designs and vibrant colored birds, which is very easy to remember. This website is using all of the browser to show the fast view. Using the maximum height gives the user a strong impression of the website. But some users may not notice they can actually scroll down when the bottom line is actually the image line, bottom line. Because of that, this arrow icon, the scroll you can see, the animation helps users notice if you click it, you can scroll down. So let's move on to the next topic. Why use JavaScript for animation? Today, CSS offers transitions and animations to add movement to the web. However, when it comes to animation on the web, JavaScript is still a big player. Why? Animation can be static, stateful, and dynamic. For static, you can create just using CSS alone. Stateful, you can deal with CSS and a little bit of JavaScript to remove the CSS classes responsible. But for dynamic, you might want to deal with JavaScript. Now we've seen a lot of reasons why animation is important. So next, I'd like to introduce Anime.js finally. And I will walk through the animation code during the demo. But first, what is Anime.js? Anime.js was created by Julian Garner in 2016. The most recent update was in April of this year. Anime.js is described as a lightweight JavaScript animation library and with a simple yet powerful API. It works with CSS properties, SVG, DOM attributes, and JavaScript object. And Anime.js supports many kinds of browsers such as Chrome, Safari, Opera, Firefox, and Internet Explorer. And also it's like MIT licensed, so you can use for your business. Okay, before diving into the demo, let's set up the Anime.js first. So first, install Anime.js package. You can just use npm install or yarn add Anime.js. And then add the link to your HTML file just using script tag. Then create an anime object in your script file. That's it. An example of Anime.js. I'd like to show you some examples using Anime.js first. So let's move to some examples. So this is a login form. This is using a snake highlight animation. So if you click this password focusing on, the line follows you. And if you click the submit, wow, this is so cool. This is only written in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And next one is this photo gallery animation. So for example, if you click, let's see, this image, you can see it's animating like very beautifully. So I think it'd be nice if you have something like this on portfolio. Might be nice. And last, button click animation. So if you click this button, wow, you can see it's loading. Done. So this button has both click animation and loading animation, which is very cool. So let's go back to the slide. Before we start demo, this is what Anime.js looks like. Anime.js provides a very simple API for animating elements. To create any animations using Anime.js, you will have to call anime function and pass it an object with key value pairs that specify the target elements and the properties that you want to animate. Okay. So this is the animation we will be creating now. Demo time. All right, so let's move to VS Code. So this is the first animation I'm going to show. This is very simple, basic animation. You can see the box goes from left to right. So let's see the HTML file. This is just, I'm creating one box of div here. That's it. And in the CSS file, I'm just styling the height, the size of the box and the color. And let's go to the script file. So only this much of code. You can use on the line 4, you can use the target key to tell Anime.js which elements you want to animate. And translate X is moving the X portion 300 pixels across the screen. So that's it. This is the basic. And let's add some more boxes. I added 2 more boxes here. And CSS is still the same. And how it looks like is like this, while 3 boxes are moving. And let's see the script file. Okay, so first, we're targeting all the elements on the page with the class name JS box, like before. And translate X, this is using a function to move each element depending on their index. So this is like index 0 moves the first box to position 0 amount, and the index 1 moves 50, and the index of 2 moves 100, like that. And next, scale 2. This is making each element twice as big. And easing. This is setting an easing function to one of the predefined easing function, ease in out sign. And next, delay. This is defining a delay for each element to perform all the property transitions. So index 0, delay to start animation for the first element by 0 times 20, that means 0 milliseconds. And the index 1 delays to start after 20 milliseconds. And index 2 will be delayed to start after 40 milliseconds. And then next, duration. This is defining the duration to be 1200 milliseconds for each element to set of transitions. And on the line 10, loop. This is just setting the animation to keep looping. And last, direction. This is telling the animate to alternate the animation direction from normal to reverse. So setting the direction to alternate makes the animation play forwards and backwards repeatedly. And then let's all put together. So it's going to be the one I showed on the slides. Wow, this is very cool. Yeah, so let's see how I code it. So on the HTML file, I added more boxes here. And in the CSS file, this is just styling the background color and the size of each boxes here. And let's see the script file. So let's see what this, and from the line 5. So this is just targeting the class name like before. And translate Y, this is simply animating each box's vertically position from 150 to 50. And then background color, for the background color, it's using a function and setting a color for each box differently. And then duration, again, it is setting the duration to 900 milliseconds. And easing, this is defining an easing function like before. And delay, the delay for each box's animation is defined using a function. And loop is just telling the animation to keep looping. And direction, again, this is making animation loop forward and backward. So this is it. This animation looks a little complicated, but all of the code I wrote is just 15 lines of code. It's very simple. So next, I made another animation, very simple. So this is a card flipping animation. This is a Japanese English flashcard for children. So if you click card, you can see it's flipping and you see the neko in the behind the card. So I added more cards like this. So I'd like to talk about how I code it quickly. So yeah, and in the beginning, I'm just creating variables using query selector from the class. And on the line 10, this is just adding click event for each card. And then let's see the animate function from line 14. First, targeting the class like before, and then scale. This is how you can use the scale. It's changing the scale of the cards. And we rotate Y. So this is telling 180 is a complete flip that swaps front and back. And then again, using easing function, and duration will be 400. So this is it, very simple. So that's it for the demo. Let's move back to the slides and let me wrap up. Okay, so pros and cons. For pros, Anime.js is very easy to set up, and also code is very simple and easy to understand. And there are many good examples you can find online, which is amazing. For cons, the documentation can be a little confusing, too hard to follow in the beginning. And also customization needs more information. So yeah, that's it for my presentation. Animation is very powerful, so it'd be nice if you add some animation to your portfolio so that you can impress recruiters or friends. But when we learn something new, getting started is one of the most difficult part. And also we're always busy. But today, I explained the first step very quickly, so maybe you can create some simple animation. So I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully it helps you even a little bit if you're interested in animation. And here are my GitHub and Twitter account. So I will appreciate any kind of feedback. So yeah, thank you very much for listening.